halfway through the 2012 Firestone Indy Lights season, and a new championship leader has emerged. Tristan Vautier will take the twin checkers.
Great day. I mean, very exciting, very competitive.
Rookie Tristan Vautier led every lap 1 week ago at the Milwaukee Mile, and now holds a slim 3-point lead over teammate Esteban Guerrieri. The series stays on the oval swing, this time at the super quick high-banked Iowa Speedway. The Firestone Indy Lights Iowa 100 is next. Well, it's a late Saturday night / early Sunday morning, all depending on where you're watching us from. Welcome back. It's NBC Sports Network's coverage of Firestone Indy Lights, the Iowa 100, along with our driver analyst and a man who knows what it's like to be fast here at Iowa Speedway, Ari Lyondike Jr. I'm Mike King. We're watching the podium celebration continue as Ryan Hunter-Reay is the winner here in the IndyCar event. You just saw it here on NBC Sports Network. But, Ari, you were on pole here in 2008. It's going to be a late night for these Firestone Indy Lights drivers, but not all short ovals are created equal. We were at Milwaukee last week, and now here we are at a very fast Iowa Speedway.
As you just saw from the IndyCar race, a total different oval than Milwaukee.
Absolutely.
I mean, high banked, very quick. It'll race a lot like the IndyCar, so it should be a very close race today.
Yep, so we're looking forward to some very fast speeds. Tristan Vautier, what a way to follow up after sitting on pole and leading every lap last week at Milwaukee, as he will be on pole to bring the field to the green flag in this one. Let's go trackside for the command of fire engines.
And here to give tonight's command for the Sukup 100 Firestone Indy Lights race with the most famous words in motorsports. Welcome again, Mr. Charles Sukup.
Drivers, start your engines.
Riding at a base car from Sukup Manufacturing is yellow flag, and the green flag again being waved by Sukup Manufacturing and Gary.
Well, there's a good shot of Tristan Vautier, our current championship leader. Of course, Tristan opened the season with a win by leading all of the laps after starting for pole at St. Pete, and Ari came back with a big win last week at Milwaukee. But Esteban Guerrieri and Sebastian Saavedra, they'll all be chasing him here tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a great race, and it's a long day for these Indy Lights drivers. Obviously, they've been here at the track, and they were supposed to race earlier, but it got rained out, so now we're doing it after the IndyCar race. So it's a total different feel for the guys. They've been at the track all day, mentally very tough, so we'll see how they handle it.
Okay, Jake Query, you're on pit lane for this one. How's it feeling down there as we get set to start a late night of racing in Iowa?
Beautiful night / morning. Tristan Vautier pulls away. He has a 3-point lead on his teammate, Esteban Guerrieri. I had asked him, Mike, what goes through your thought process, and does it change now when you have your teammate who is starting right beside you when you were so close in points? He said, my approach is essentially the same. Keep in mind, he's coming off that win in Milwaukee. He said, but I think to myself, green, clean, green, clean. You can bet Sam Schmidt is happy about that. One other note, Alain Day had qualified 9th for this race in car number 9 for Belardi Racing, but he has been struck from the actual grid. Brian Belardi wouldn't comment on it. I believe it's a sponsorship issue, but we'll try to find out exactly what the situation is with Alain Day.
So as we get set to go to green flag racing here tonight for event number 2 at Iowa Speedway, take a look at the championship points as Tristan Vautier, with the win last week at Milwaukee, takes over the lead for the first time since the season opener, just 3 points in front of Esteban Guerrieri. Sebastian Saavedra, who has also been on top this season, is 14 points back. Victor Carboni, 59 points back. Gustavo Jacobin, well, right now he's shown 65 points back, but if he can win this race, Ari, he's going to get himself right back in the championship.
Yeah, this is a crucial race for all these drivers. You know, the last oval for a while as we moved on to road courses, so different feel.
Take a look at the starting lineup. There is Vautier, the Frenchman, as he'll be joined by Esteban Guerrieri, Carboni, and Saavedra in row number 2. David Ostella was really racy in that Timor Racing number 22 car last week at Milwaukee. Oliver Webb on the outside of 3. Carlos Munoz and Gustavo Jacobin in 4. Alain Day was supposed to start in row 5, but he has been pulled by the team Anders Krohn back there with him. Jorge Goncalves and Chase Austin makes his return to the series. Brian Clausen and Juan Pablo Garcia and Mike Larison has, well, he's really had his problems. He had an incident during qualifying, 4 incidents in the last 2 races as we get set to go to green flag racing, but no, they wave it off. They didn't like the alignment. So, Ari, what do you see there as the cars were getting set to come to the green?
I think Vautier just went a little bit too early, caught the rest of the field off guard, so they're going to pull this one around and form up and try it again.
So everyone will take a bit of a breather here. This has been a very quick transition. Less than 20 minutes have elapsed since the end of the IZOD IndyCar Series event where Andretti Autosport went 1-2 with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
And the track conditions are completely different, too, because it's late at night, so we're going to see if these cars are a lot different. Look at, oh, Saavedra getting loose on the start here.
So here we come to the green flag. This time it looks like they're going to let this one stand in a good jump by Tristan Vautier. Esteban Guerrieri in the light blue and white car trying to hold the position, but here comes Saavedra on the outside.
Great move on the outside. I think he's going to slot into second here. Great move from Saavedra on the start.
All right, you led a lot of laps at this racetrack back in 2008 when you started on pole. You led 110 laps, excuse me, 101 laps, and
right.
You wound up finishing second in this race. What is the key to winning or to leading at this racetrack?
First and foremost, starts and restarts. Big advantage here to be the leader. Second thing is to trim and to win. What I mean by that is you have to have a car that's very on edge, and then you can lead very easily here because it's very hard to pass for the lead. And the third thing, lap traffic, that's what caught me out. I led all those laps, and then I got up to lap traffic, the car understeered, and you know, someone passed me. So that is very crucial to have a car that can work through traffic well as well. Well,
Sebastian Saavedra in that red and yellow car, he knows how to win here, Ari, because in 2010, when he was full-time in Firestone Indy Lights, he started on pole and won this race. In fact, he led every lap.
Yeah, and he told me that exact thing, that you need to have a car that's, you know, very trimmed out to lead this race and to stay out front. And that's what he did when he was with Brian Herta Autosport. And so he's had to take a little bit of a different strategy now because he isn't up front or didn't qualify on pole. So he's had to put a little bit more downforce on so he can make the car better in traffic.
This is a 7/8 mile, relatively high bank short track. All right, we've got progressive banking, 12 to 14 degrees here, and these drivers have to do 115 laps on one set of tires. Obviously, in this series, no pit stops. How important is it to conserve your tires to the later part of the run?
I would say it's not as important as Milwaukee. You have that banking that supports the car, so you can really drive as quick as you want throughout the whole race. I don't think you should really conserve, but the one thing you do have to do is stay up on top of your controls. Now, what I mean by that is if the car starts understeering, you know, go to your bars, go to your weight jacker before you damage those front tires. If you can do that, you'll have a car underneath you at the end of the race.
And when you say understeering, you mean when that car's having a tendency to want to drive to the wall?
Right, a lot. These cars tend to, over the course of the race, start understeering, which means the front end loses grip, and you start turning that wheel more, and it just damages those front tires and gets worse and worse and worse.
Here's a battle for position. That's Gustavo Jacobin trying to go to the inside of Victor Carboni. He will pick up the spot. Jake Query told us about the situation with Alon Day. Jake, you've got more information?
Yeah, the official word from the team in Velarde Autosport, a team official said simply, quote, he has withdrawn from this race and we don't know the future moving forward. Now, I then asked, was the team the one that withdrew him or did he himself withdraw? There was a pause, then I was told again, he has been withdrawn. We don't know the future moving forward. We can certainly read into that for what we want, Mike. The assumption would be that that is a sponsorship issue, but as it stands now, Velarde will now watch Jorge Goncalves carry the flag for the team here at Iowa.
You see the yellow and white car there, car number 22. That is David Ostella running behind Victor Carboni. And Ari, both of us were very impressed with just how racy David Ostella was in the closing 20 laps or so at Milwaukee. He probably had the best car on track during that final stage.
Yeah, he really came on fire at the closing stages of the race. And in the warm-up, he was very quick earlier today. So I'm looking for him to make some moves towards the front.
So Ostella, who looks forward to in a couple of weeks getting back home to Toronto, which is very near his hometown of Maple, Ontario. Right now working on Victor Carboni. Carboni started third, gave up a couple of positions, and right now Carboni is simply trying to hold on. He's already given away the spot to Gustavo Jacobin. Now here comes Ostella trying to pick up the spot as well.
Now these drivers at this point of the race should all be flat out, and it's very hard to get that pass done on the outside. So he goes to the inside. Very good move here. Ostella,
Yes,
good
nice
move to the
dive
inside.
there by David Ostella. And
very unexpected side by side here now.
Carbone's not going to give it up, is he?
No, he's not going to give it up, but I think Ostella will have the advantage here through 1 and 2. There he goes. There he goes. He slots into that position there.
Now, Ari, there is a bump off of turn number 2 that you say is not as significant as it used to be.
Yeah, the last year it was very significant, and this year it's still in that second lane up. If you're all the way in the bottom, it's not that bad. But if you're using that second lane, it tends to give the car a lot of understeer, so it makes it hard to make that pass on the outside.
Well, Carbone in the 3 car, the white car there with the red and black accents, certainly not handling well as he has dropped 3 positions. Here you see Esteban Guerrieri working on the 27 of Sebastian Saavedra as they run 2nd and 3rd behind our leader and championship leader, Tristan Vautier.
Firestone Indy Lights on NBC Sports Network is brought to you by TireRack.com. Research, buy, deliver, install. Tire Rack.
Late Saturday night at Iowa Speedway, Firestone Indy Lights live on the NBC Sports Network, and Tristan Vautier is our championship leader on board right now, looking out of the back of Esteban Guerrieri's car, the white and blue number 11. And Ari, here's a pass that gave him 2nd place.
Yeah, it was all set up by Larison, the lap car. Saavedra was trying to get around him and actually pinch it down, and that just killed his momentum, and Guerrieri took advantage of it.
Saavedra, as he was closing Ari on that lap car, the number 19, got a little loose, and as you mentioned, that's what allowed this pass to take place.
Yeah, he tried to just stay low and stay flat, and it actually kicked the back end out a little bit, and he had to lift, and that's, all it took for Guerrieri to take advantage, and that's just one of those keys of the race, working through lap traffic.
Esteban Guerrieri came into this race trailing the driver in front of him, Tristan Vautier, by just 3 points. And let's remember that these guys are teammates running for the very powerful Sam Schmidt Motorsports team. And Jake Query, you've got the driver, you've got the owner watching both of these drivers, Sam Schmidt.
Yeah, for the 2nd time tonight, Sam Schmidt is watching a 77 car that he owns. Right now it's Tristan Vautier up front. It was Simon Pagenaud in the Eyes on IndyCar Series. Top 5 for Simon Pagenaud. And Sam, wasn't a great car during the heat races, but boy, what a job for your team.
Just an epic comeback, I tell you. He was not comfortable all last night, and the HP team just worked all night long, changed the motor, did wholesale changes to the car. Had no idea what we had today, but he did a heck of a job, finding his confidence in the race, coming through the way he did.
It seems like we say this every race, but you've got 2 cars up front. Tell me about the maturity of Tristan Vautier and Esteban Guerrieri and understanding when to back off a little bit because they have a teammate beside them.
Yeah, I mean, they're both doing such a super job. And they're both obviously giving some championship, but they're both helping each other as well to get to the front. And Tristan has done super job as a rookie. Esteban, obviously, his 2nd year. Can't say enough. They're both really quality individuals. And the team behind him is doing a good job. Really a perfect night.
Had a good night so far. He watched one number 77 in Simon Pagenaud. There's the other one, Mike King, Tristan Vautier.
And Vautier lands this ride with Sam Schmidt by virtue of winning the 2011 Mazda Championship, Ari. So the ladder is working for guys like Tristan Vautier, certainly, and an outstanding opportunity for him. And we go back in the pack just a bit. We've been talking about Carbone. And Carbone right now trying to hold off the 26 car of Carlos Munoz.
Yeah, Munoz on the top side here, which is a little bit difficult to get this pass done, but if you can hold him down and create a little bit of understeer for Carbone, he'll have to lift, and I think he's got it done.
And you see running just in front of that yellow and red 26 car, the yellow, red, and blue car. There it is, the 2 of Gustavo Jacquemin. Did not have the best qualifying effort yesterday, but he is +3 right now as Gustavo Jacquemin, actually +4 as Jacquemin is, well, he had climbed up to 4th, then he dropped back to 5th. So
yeah, I think
Ostella,
I think Ostella actually passed his teammate because Ostella was behind Jacquemin. So Ostella again coming on strong here and climbing up through the ranks, and he's got a little bit of a gap to Saavedra, a 5-second gap. So let's see if he can close that up in the next stages of the race.
There is Ostella running at the bottom of your screen now in the 22 car, and You see now, Ari, with the lateness of the evening and the humidity in the air, the contrails coming off the rear wings, that's really cool looking.
It is very cool. It also indicates there's a lot of, the air is very thick and it's very draggy. So these Indy Lights cars have a set wing angle, so they can't take any more downforce off than they have now. So they're all pretty much running the same rear wing if they're near the front. So that is cool to see that those contrails come off those rear wings.
Well, Gustavo Jacquemin, Ari, 1 year ago finished second in this race to Joseph Newgarden, and
it was a wild race.
And really, and he and Joseph Newgarden made contact on 3 different occasions in the race that could have taken either of them or both of them out, and somehow or another they both wound up finishing that race 1-2.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was a very close fought race, and I expect to see a lot of that towards the end of this race.
Yeah, Jacquemin, though, it looks like he's got something for David Ostella here in that 22 car.
He's got a little run on him here. It's very difficult because when you get close to another car like that, the car tends to slide up the racetrack. It tends to create some understeer as Carbone making his way back around Munoz.
Yeah, so they've traded spots a couple of times. Tristan Vautier right now having his way with the field as he leads Esteban Guerrieri. Sebastian Saavedra is third at Iowa. Next Saturday, the NBC Sports Network begins coverage of the Tour de France, cycling's most prestigious event. Don't miss the opening prologue from Liège, Belgium. The Tour de France begins next Saturday at 8 Eastern on the NBC Sports Network. Along with Jake Query and Ari Lyondike Jr., I'm Mike King. It's a little late night racing here on a Saturday/Sunday morning, all depending on your time zone where you're watching, as we are live with you at Iowa Speedway, Firestone Indy Lights action, and we're watching this young man, the Frenchman, Tristan Vautier, who led all 100 laps a week ago at Milwaukee. And Ari, right now, he's threatening to do the same, as this is a 115-lap event, and he's catching lap traffic now.
Yeah, this lap traffic's going to be tough for him, but he's got a comfortable gap, so it shouldn't affect him right now. But if we do get a fight going on later on with Guerrieri, he's got to be really careful about, not losing any ground. But right now, a comfortable 1 second lead, and he's out front and controlling this race.
Yeah, you take a look at those last 3 laps as Vautier is... He's not slowing down. He's getting quicker.
Yeah, no, those are very, very competitive laps. Pole was about 160, so, he's not much slower than the pole position lap. So he's definitely clocking some flat-out, very good laps here.
And what's amazing is you saw when he got past those lap cars on the previous lap, one of those lap cars was Oliver Webb, his teammate in that number 7 Lucas Oil car, which generally you would expect to be up there contending for a win. Yeah. But Vautier blew by him like he was sitting still.
Yeah, Webb is sitting in 12th right now, so Vautier is lapped up to 11th. And, as we get through this race, it's right now there hasn't been any cautions. So he's got to love that because all the cars are pretty spread out, so he can pick them off one by one.
Well, Chase Austin is back in Firestone Indy Lights, making his second appearance of 2012, Jake Query, and he's out there racing in that 86 car.
He is indeed, and when you talk about the Mazda Road to Indy, guys, that doesn't just go for drivers, it goes for teams as well. He's running with Juncos Racing. They had 2 entries in the Freedom 100 their first time, ended up with 2 top 10 finishes. As you look at Chase Austin and car number 86, Juncos would like to get more involved here in the Firestone Indy Lights. They turn to Chase Austin, who has a couple of starts under his belt. Keep in mind, this is the team that won the 2010 Star Mazda Championship with Connor Daly, Mike.
Yeah, this team has a great heritage in open-wheel racing as they look to make the climb up the ladder, as Jake was mentioning, along with drivers' teams want to make the climb up the ladder the same way. Now, Chase Austin, he raced here last year, Ari. He was 10th here in 2011. This is just, as we mentioned, his second start of 2012 as he wound up 10th at Indy. So, we keep our eye on Chase Austin, and
it's got some understeer there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. When you get close to another car like that, you really need to set it up to where you leave half your car sort of in clean air, so you have that bite from the aerodynamic, from the wings, and Clausen's right in front of him, so you really want to sort of set him up for the exit, and you can tell that right at the exit of the corners here, he's sliding up the racetrack with understeer.
Well, there are 3 Americans in this field, and 2 of them running nose to tail. There is Chase Austin is trying to catch that black and yellow car of Brian Clausen, the 2-time defending USAC National Drivers Champion. But yeah, they've got their mirrors full of the leader as Tristan Vautier says, get out of the way, boys. The fast guy's coming through.
And that's such a tough position to be in. You're having your own race there, And now you can see how much ground Chase lost to Clausen just because he's trying to let Vautier through. So hopefully now he can follow Vautier and maybe make up some ground.
Brian Clausen runs 10th, has not had a particularly good weekend. Ran here last night, Ari.
Oh, Savager has problems.
Oh, he does.
Savager's coming in the pits here.
How about that? So the 27 car who came into this event, third in the championship, just 14 points back. Looks like he could wind up finishing last here today as...
Yeah, this is not good for points, you know.
Saavedra will come off of track. Not exactly sure what the problem is. I'm sure Jake Query will be on his way. Jake, here comes Saavedra. This is bad news for a guy who's wanting to win a championship this year.
And as he pulls it in, keep in mind, guys, this is somebody who thought he had a full-time Eyes on IndyCar Series ride at one point, decided to come back down to Firestone Indy Lights. He brings it in, and they've got a problem on the right rear. It looks like, I can't tell if that's some sort of a problem with the brake, Ari. I think that's what it, certainly, I can tell you what it smells like up on the front, the right side as well. So we'll find out the exact problem for Sebastian Saavedra. But, guys, this is obviously very, very costly for that number 27 AFS car for Andretti Autosport, as Sebastian Saavedra now sits and waits. It's the front right that they're taking a look at.
All right, generally speaking, you don't worry about your brakes too much on a track like this where you're flat. You don't touch your brakes very much. Well, what do you think the issue is there?
Well, you saw that he rolled the wheels, so it wasn't the brakes. I think it was a wheel bearing, because you saw how the wheels sort of shook back and forth sideways like that.
Didn't look like the hub was completely tight, but instead it's probably the wheel bearing. Tristan Vautier, he is beyond the halfway point. He's led all 60 laps here at Iowa. Live from Iowa Speedway, it's Saturday night racing on the NBC Sports Network, and we've been keeping our eye on Tristan Vautier, the Sam Schmidt Motorsports driver. He won a week ago at Milwaukee, and he had a bit of a moment while we were away, Ari Landike Jr.
The traffic has just been difficult for him, and you could see Guerrieri trying to take advantage of it, but he wasn't able to. Look at how loose. Let's look from Guerrieri's car here. You'll see the advantage he gets here. He tries to make the pass, but can't get pulled off. He's got to back off, and he gets loose here a little bit.
Now the blue and white car running just in front of him, that is the Anders Krohn car, fielded by Brian Herta Autosport, and we saw Vautier pull up on him. All right, Vautier has been, well, we'll touch on this in a second. First, let's check in with Jake Query. What happened to Sebastian Saavedra, Jake?
Well, Sebastian Saavedra will not become a two-time winner at the Iowa Speedway. 1 year, 2 years ago. A wheel bearing, I'm told, and it's still steaming here in the front right. You came in 14 points off the lead in terms of the points chase. Take me through what you felt in the car and how you knew there was a problem.
Yeah, so it's very sad, you know. I think we were doing a great job out there. I had a very good start, going from fourth all the way to second. And from then on, I started trying to keep the pace. You know, the pro guys were having a good laps out there. We knew it was a long race, trying to save the tires. About 5 laps before it happened, I started to feel a little bit loose. The car was just getting worse and worse. Unfortunately, I knew something was broken. I brought it in, and yeah, the wheel bearing was steaming very hot. It's just unfortunate. We're doing an incredible job in the season. You know, great job to the guys. It's an unfortunate situation. We'll just need to keep fighting.
May not be as big a points hit as we had anticipated, Mike King, because as we saw, Tristan Vautier just came through for a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, and Ari, we had just watched that replay of the situation involving Vautier and Esteban Guerrieri, and race controls decided that wasn't necessarily on the up and up. So the 77 car has to drive through for the penalty, and because of that, the 11 car takes over the lead.
That's an amazing. I mean, it's a tough call. I mean, you know, blocking is obviously not allowed, and Guerrieri just got a nice little gift. I mean, how nice is that? He didn't even have to make the pass, and now Vautier is actually a lap down. So this is going to be, you know, virtually impossible to recover from.
And you ask how big of an impact is that call that sends him to the pits for the drive-through penalty? Tristan Vautier had led every lap up to that point and was obviously the championship leader. If this race were to be checkered right now, Tristan Vautier would be 24 points behind Esteban Guerrieri.
Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, here it is again.
So he's up high here, and now Guerrieri made the initial move, and now Vautier can't react to that, and that is blocking. If Vautier would have gone down to the bottom initially, that would have been fine, but he's reacting to another driver's move that's on the attack, and that is blocking.
Well, there's the 77 of Tristan Vautier. So now Vautier is going to have to race his way back to the field and try to catch the blue and white car, as the 11 of Guerrieri has gone to the front after the penalty call. He gets past the lap car there. Gustavo Jacquemin now runs second, and Victor Carboni is third. So how about that? With 77 of 115 complete, we've got a new leader. Esteban Guerrieri is out in front. Can Vautier catch him? We'll find out when we come back to Iowa. Well, the first half of this race belonged to the 77 car of Tristan Vautier, but a drive-through penalty handed over the lead to this young man, the Argentinian, Esteban Guerrieri, who now leads Vautier by 18 points. And Ari, that drive-through, that could really play large in the championship this season.
Yeah, every point counts, and that's a huge hit. I mean, I think it was a little bit of a severe penalty, but you know, it'll definitely teach him a lesson. So, you know, obviously he's new to these ovals, and blocking is a very difficult thing to judge sometimes.
Well, Esteban Guerrieri, who, as you see, started on the outside of the front row, assumes the lead by virtue of the drive-through penalty handed down to Tristan Vautier. Okay, Ari, obviously we're on board with Guerrieri.
Yeah, look how tight this place is.
Yeah,
it's a very tight track, but a lot of banking through here. Nice little wide entry. Very big bump in the middle of 1 and 2 right there, and you got to set your car up for that. And now you just get a few seconds to rest, and you have 3 and 4. This is entry of 3. In the middle here, it smooths out a little bit, and then you go all the way up to the wall and use up every little bit of the road there, and that's a lap, 160 miles an hour.
Now, Ari, as he comes off of turn number 2 here in a second, we were noticing, listening to the car, that he was on the rev limiter as he made his way into turn number 3.
Yeah, he was on the rev limiter in traffic, but now, you know, 6th gear, he's not pulling as many revs because he's got clean air in front of him. So obviously these guys have a few different gears to choose from when they go into the race, a drafting gear, if you will. And right now, Guerrieri turning some really good laps. He's got an 8.3 second lead on Carbone.
Well, winning here would be big for him because basically he saw his opportunity to win the championship go away here a year ago, Ari, as he finished 12th at this same racetrack in 2011. And let's face it, if you're a driver fighting for a championship, you don't care how you got to the lead as long as the lead is yours.
Yeah, and the car behind him is Goncalves, and he's actually a lap down. So he's in 6th place. So that just shows you that the pace here has been crazy fast for the leaders. They have lapped all but the top 5.
Esteban Guerrieri was 3rd a week ago at Milwaukee. He's already got 2 wins to his credit this season. He won back-to-back at Long Beach and Indy. And let's face it, right now he's looking pretty darn good here as, what do we have, 24 laps?
And it's pretty impressive. I mean, he's won on the street course. He's won on the big oval. Now, you know, he can win on the short oval. So he's very versatile, and that's what you need out of a championship contender.
So Esteban Guerrieri, who came into this event trailing Tristan Vautier by 3 points, and he's going to get past the lap car of Mike Larison, who we talked about earlier. Larison's had a lot of problems. He's had 4 incidents in the last 2 races, but we're happy to report that despite the fact that he's kind of slow, he's keeping his nose clean in this race.
Yeah, he's being smart about it. He's not in the way, and you know, he is 6 laps down at this point, but he hasn't been a problem, and you know, he's gaining experience. Every race, he's going to get better and better, and that's very important.
Well, there's the team owner, Sam Schmidt, and while Sam may not be happy about what happened to Vautier, he's got to be happy for Guerrieri. They're both his drivers.
I mean, you know, I talked to him yesterday, and I said, you guys are doing pretty good. He goes, well, you know, we got 4 cars, so if you know, one of our guys drops out or has a bad race, you know, we have 3 other bullets in the chamber. And, you know, he has 3 very fast drivers, and Webb's been struggling on the ovals. But I think that Webb will do good in this string of road courses that's coming up.
Yeah, 2 of his 4 cars right now are running 1-2, Guerrieri and Carbone. Jake Query, the reaction from Sam Schmidt on the penalty.
He actually was pretty understanding about it, guys. When I asked him, I said, was there anything to precipitate Vautier getting that penalty other than the 1 incident? He said no, but he got a drive-through because of blocking. When I asked him at that point, do you think it was legitimate? He said, hey, blocking is blocking. He was given the penalty. Now, keep in mind, this is, as we know it, of course, it is still a developmental series, and there are still times where drivers are kind of learning as they go along, and I guess that includes learning what would be considered acceptable, what would not. In the case of Tristan Vautier, costly mistake, but guys, Sam Schmidt was pretty understanding about it.
Well, Esteban Guerrieri might be driving away as far as the leader, but the battle for second continues to rage as that 3-car, Victor Carbone, trying to hold off Gustavo Jacquemin with 97, soon to be 98 of 115 laps complete. And Ari, you're not so sure there wasn't a little blockage there a lap earlier.
I guess the difference is Carbone is choosing that low line and then entering low. But here we go. Gustavo to the bottom.
That's a nice move.
I think he's got him. Now he's just got to work his way around Larison up here. Hopefully this doesn't affect the race going into turn 3, but Gustavo Jacquemin making the move.
This could be a good points night for Gustavo Jacquemin as he goes to second, trying to run down Esteban Guerrieri, the leader, as the laps wind down at Iowa. Laps winding down at Iowa Speedway. Firestone Indy Lights live on the NBC Sports Network, and boy, this one still not over as we've got 9 laps remaining, and we have kept our eye on a couple of drivers. Right now, the 26 and the 4, as they go side by side. The 4, that is Jorge Goncalves, the 26, Carlos Munoz. We've also watched Tristan Vautier already fight his way back into the top 5.
Yeah, Vautier actually got his lap back, so he passed Guerrieri, and now he's on the lead lap, which is very, very good, because if it goes yellow, he'll have a shot at this.
Well, the yellow and red car on number 2, that is Gustavo Jacquemin, and right now dealing with the lap traffic as he runs second, trying to chase down Esteban Guerrieri, and we've got a car in the wall. That's Oliver Webb.
Oliver Webb in the wall, just like I said. Guerrieri, Vautier just got his lap back.
Yep.
But we only have 7 laps left, so we'll have to see how this plays out. Oliver Webb.
The good news is it looks like he made contact, but there may not be much debris associated with this one, as Ari, there's Carbone going underneath him.
Looks like he just understeered right up the racetrack here. And that's when you get up there, and there's not a lot of grip up there, and the front end just slides, and it takes off, and there's nothing you can do at that point.
Well, you talked about the understeer and how it's a problem here, but all right, this could be a quick cleanup. We're only showing 6 laps remaining. If, in fact, the Homatro safety crew determines that there's not a lot of debris on the track, and it doesn't look like there's any real carbon fiber damage to this car, suspension damage, obviously, but if they can quickly get him off the track, we might have ourselves a 2 or 3 lap shootout here.
Yeah, exactly. So there looks like rear and front right suspension damage, and they're working very quickly to get back to green. So we do hear that they possibly will go back to green.
Yeah, so it looks like they've got the tow rope out as they're trying to decide where they're going to take him. And it looks like they're not going to return the car to pit lane, or it looks like they're going to simply try to get him off the track and out of harm's way, and they'll return the car to pit lane at the conclusion of the race.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I'd love to see this last little setup for a few laps. You know, for an interesting race. We have 5 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, maybe
Guerrieri, Jacquemin, Carbone, Ostella, and Vautier.
Maybe a 3-lap shootout as Gustavo Jacquemin, Team Moore Racing, they've had some pretty good outings of late. Of course, we talked about David Ostella, who had the good run, and there's Gustavo Jacquemin, his teammate.
I gotta say, Jacquemin is always very good on these late restarts, and you know, Esteban Guerrieri right now, it's his race to lose.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll definitely see what transpires here, but Jacquemin always very aggressive on the restarts.
Well, Jacquemin won earlier this season, picked up his 2nd career win in Firestone Indy Lights at Belle Isle. Jacquemin, as we mentioned, was 2nd here a year ago. This is his 4th start at this track. And Ari, we're going to get a 3-lap shootout, it looks like. 1 to go at the line, so.
And I wouldn't count out Vautier either. Now he's within striking distance. He got his lap back right before that yellow. And, you know, it's pretty interesting. We're going to have a great finish here.
Okay, so 112 laps are complete as the cars cross the line. So, Ari, as we complete one more circuit in the green flag waves, we'll cross the line with 113 complete. That means we have 2 laps of racing remaining.
A lot can happen in 2 laps, and
boy, can it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll definitely see what transpires. But Guerrieri right now, if I was in his helmet, you know, I'd get a nice early restart and try to take advantage of that that lead position, which is definitely where you want to be on this restart.
Chase Austin in that 86 car. We talked about him a bit earlier. +4 on the night. Started 12th.
Early restart.
And we're going back to green as the flag will wave, and Esteban Guerrieri already looks like he got a pretty good restart on Jakob there.
Yeah, Munoz down in the bottom for 4th place back there, but Guerrieri, really nice early restart, got out front, and now he's definitely has the advantage, whereas it looks like Jakob isn't close enough right now.
Nope.
He's going to have to make up a lot of ground here.
With 1 lap, there's the white flag. It's going to wave. Does Gustavo Jakob have enough time to catch Esteban Guerrieri?
Oh, he is closing in, but I don't know if he's going to have time.
Less than half a lap to go. They're in turn number 3. Don't think Gus is going to be able to do it, Ari. Off of 4 for the final time. For the 3rd time this season, Esteban Guerrieri, the driver from Argentina, is your winner. Gustavo Jakob winds up 2nd. Victor Carboni 3rd. Tristan Vautier, oh, how he would love to have that drive-through penalty back. And David Ostella with yet another top 5 in that 22 car. So Team Moore Racing places 2 cars in the top 5, as does Sam Schmidt Motorsports.
That's a great feeling. You know, he had so much pressure on him on that last restart, and to be the leader and to come away with a win there has got to be a relief, because he probably thought he had it all wrapped up coming into that yellow.
So there's your race winner as he will roll down pit lane and into victory lane for the 3rd time this season. And he will head to Toronto with the championship lead. Esteban Guerrieri is the winner on a late Saturday night at Iowa Speedway.
Welcome back to the Iowa Speedway, and the Sukup 100 is complete. The winner will be the Argentinian for the 3rd time this year. Esteban Guerrieri finds himself in victory lane, and the Firestone Indy Lights and the patented machine gun move, Esteban Guerrieri, celebrates yet another win. And we'll talk to the excitable young man who for the 3rd time this year finds himself in victory circle. First off, congratulations. Boy, I'll tell you what, kind of an odd way to inherit the lead in the penalty with Tristan, but yet again, you had to fight off. This time it was Gustavo Jakob. Take me through it.
Yeah, thank you very much. To be honest, I feel still like going left, you know. I feel a bit dizzy, but it was a nice race. Unfortunately, well, it was quite clear that Tristan blocked me when I was trying to pass for the lead. So I think he got the drive-through, and well, I heard he take the lead. I just keep it calm. I knew I had a big lead, you know. We were lapping many cars. We were lapping quick cars in the end, in the last lap. So just took it easy. The car was great. We did a very good job for the night race, because we were expecting that, and we put a nice setup on the car. So the team did a great job. The Sam Schmidt guys, they really deserve it. So really pleased, and yeah, let's now enjoy probably having some beers as it's night now. So we are really happy.
How physically demanding is this track? You made comment about it, and the fact that you still are a little bit dizzy. You never really are going straight on this circuit.
No, actually, no. You're always turning left, and to be honest, I felt dizzy. I don't think it's because of the physical strength, but mostly because you keep turning to the same place. Actually, it was a little bit tough on my low back, but it's always like this on the ovals. Other than that, I felt great.
Congratulations on the win.
All right, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the race, all the fans here in the stands and they're at home. So let's go to Toronto in 2 weeks, try to repeat this one. Thank you.
We'll see him there. Esteban Guerrieri, my king.
Yeah, Esteban Guerrieri has to be happy, and he will go Toronto in a couple of weeks with the championship lead as he finishes in front of Gustavo Jakob, who came from 8th to 2nd. Victor Carboni, Tristan Vautier, oh, what might have been had it not been for that block coming off of turn 2 that drew the penalty. Mike Larison winds up finishing in front of Oliver Webb. Webb brought out that yellow. Sebastian Saavedra, the wheel bearing puts him out early, and that's going to cost him championship-wise. Juan Pablo Garcia and Alain Day is credited with a 15th place finish. Back to Jake Query.
Gustavo Jakob was the big mover here. Started in 8th, finished in 2nd. Boy, I'll tell you what, that was some moving and shaking. Take me through the very end and the restart. Guerrieri got a pretty good jump on you, but that was still a pretty impressive run.
Yeah, well, you know, before the yellow came out, I was catching Esteban really quick, like 2 seconds a lap or something like that. He got held up in traffic. and my car was really good by the end of the race. And man, I tell you, in the restart, it's too late for me. It's past my curfew. I should have been sleeping like 2 hours ago, so I just fell asleep in the restart. You know, Esteban went go.
You needed some of that Colombian coffee, huh?
Yeah, I didn't drink enough coffee. I was afraid it would do something else, you know. But yeah, you know, just happy to bring home a second. The team has done a really amazing job this weekend. We lacked some speed, you know, during practice and qualifying, but hey, here we are. We made up some good points over Saavedra and Tristan. So, you know, keep our head up and try and fight the championship.
Pass of the night might have been the one that put him in second place to pass Victor Carboni. That's Gustavo Jacquemin.
Yeah, and that was a good battle for sure. Gustavo Jacquemin got a little momentum at his back as we get set to head to Toronto, but he couldn't catch Esteban Guerrieri, the winner here at Iowa. Firestone Indy Lights live on the NBC Sports Network on a late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Iowa Speedway, the Iowa 100 is now in the books. Esteban Guerrieri is the winner, and he will go to Toronto in 2 weeks with the championship lead. Tristan Vautier, who came into this race with the championship, now finds himself second, 12 points down. And Ari, Sebastian Saavedra, that wheel bearing cost him, as now he's 44 points back.
Yeah, that's crushing for him. He's definitely in this to win the championship, coming down from IndyCar, and he's going to have to bounce back. Gustavo
Jacquemin picks up a position, now tied with Victor Carboni, who was 7th here a year ago, and now Victor Carboni finishes 3rd, and he is with Jake Query.
Same place and where he started. Finishes on the podium. Victor Carboni, congratulations. Obviously good points night for you. Take me through your car, how it felt, and the run.
Yeah, I didn't have a good start. I fell back a few spots, and then I just took my time. I saw that the cars in front of me were struggling a little bit with the handling of the car. My car was handling pretty good, so I just took my time, saved my tires, and then started to pick up one by one. And at the end there, I had a run on Gus when we come up on traffic, but we're just missing that little bit of speed, so he was able to get me back. But it's a good result. We're maximizing points, so should be good, and try to build up for the next weekend.
It's late at night here, but still time for a party. The podium getting ready to celebrate Mike King. Victor Carboni finishes in 3rd.
Yeah, everybody having a good time as they're receiving the trophies. There's the man sitting on the top step, Esteban Guerrieri. Coming up next, Tour de France preview. And don't miss the start of cycling's most prestigious event next Saturday at 8 Eastern time. The Firestone Indy Lights Series and the IZOD IndyCar Series continues here on the NBC Sports Network from Edmonton City Center, Sunday, July 22nd at 12:30 Eastern time. For more information on the IndyCar Series, go to NBCSports.com. For Jake Query and Ari Lyondike Jr., I'm Mike King. Congratulations to Esteban Guerrieri, the winner of the Iowa 100.